just a little boy, he was abandoned by his father. Raised by a single mom in one of the most dangerous, gang-infested, and poorest cities in Los Angeles, once even weighing over 300 pounds and diagnosed with diabetes. This is definitely no laughing matter, but our guest today has somehow turned life's challenges into the pursuit of happiness. I'm your host, Rachel Dares.
And I'm Marshall Thomas, and you're on PassionDriven.tv.
Welcome to a new segment of PassionDriven.tv. We are here with actor, comedian, and artist, my very good friend, Mr. Walter Reyes. Woo-hoo, give it up.
Hola, everybody. Feels good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you bet. That's a gas. She was going to tell you that he's an artist, he's a comedian, he's many things, an actor, and the story has to begin somewhere. I know you had a bit of a tumultuous childhood growing up in a less than desirable little city in California called Cudahy.
Tiny little Cudahy.
Yeah. Town I'm very familiar with.
I know, that's crazy. Small world.
That phrase is so true. I had an auntie that lived there through the 70s and 80s. And I grew up in Bell Gardens, just over the bridge.
Yep.
And it's changed a lot since then. In fact, I knew I was going to be in radio. I worked at a department store there called W.T. Grant's. It's probably Kmart now.
Kmart now, yeah. Big K.
I got my first little gig there doing those, attention shoppers, the blue light pantyhose.
Nice. I need some pantyhose. I need some pantyhose.
See, don't rush. Take it easy in the
voice. I hope that voice is there with the pantyhose.
So take us back to that bridge, as it were.
Oh my God, yeah, it was challenging for me. I wouldn't, you always go back and you think about that stuff, and it's not a pleasant experience. I mean, when I grew up there, the city, it's about 6 blocks long, 6 blocks wide, 6 by 6 blocks. I mean,
wow.
And within that space, I mean, there was 4 different gangs that hated each other.
Oof.
So I make a joke, where every other block I had to change my shirt just to make sure I didn't get jumped or anything like that. But it was like dodging the hard side of life. Unfortunately, I don't know what it was, because there really wasn't a strong father figure in the household. I was raised by a single mom. She was constantly working. Her idea of being there for me was having decent clothes and food on the table. But for the most part, I had my own keys since I was 7, and walked myself to elementary, and junior high was Nimitz, which was in Maywood. That's like it's far. It's like an 8-mile walk or something like that.
That's a ways.
Yeah.
My brother was born in Maywood, so I know where Maywood is too.
Yeah, and the way I dodged it, because it was a time frame where they were literally recruiting, mind you, which means courting in or jumping kids in.
Wow.
I mean, I'm talking about 12, 13, 14-year-old kids.
Really?
So, oh yes. I mean, it was crazy. And once you're in, you're in. And as a kid, what the hell? You're just scared. You don't want to get beat up. And all of a sudden, you're part of it. And it got crazy because the gang war was so intense. So they were just recruiting, almost like if you refer to Africa, like they go get kids in villages. It's very similar to that. They're not chopping people's hands off, but they're beating you up.
Wow.
And luckily, I had a hot sister. One of the main guys in the main gang lived in our apartment complex, loved her. And I just mustered up the courage to go talk to him and ask him, please don't recruit me. Please, leave me alone. I want to go to college. I want to graduate high school. This is a true story. I went up there, I was nervous. I was shaking. I was maybe 13, 14 years old. And I just went up there and I went to the main guy and I just asked him, this is what I want to do. I hate having to go, I don't even want to go outside. I went to him almost like man to man, even though I was a little kid, and he respected that immediately and just said, don't worry about it. You have nothing to worry about. You're not going to get harassed anymore. And that was it. Huh. No one approached me anymore, left me alone, and it was cool. I mean, for given the environment, I mean, I survived. I never got any problems. I never got beat up. I never faced anything. I was just always looking to make people laugh. And I think that kind of helped me since a very young age,
Got you out of some jams, sense of humor of yours.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, when you stand up to them like that, it holds true for business as well. If you go to a CEO or whatever and say, look, I'm drawing a line right here because I think you're crossing it. Either they'll fire you or they'll respect that and say, you know what, we're moving you up the ladder, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also a loan officer. That's what I do as well. And I prefer going to meet someone, seeing them face to face, and shaking their hand.
There you go.
It's a much better way of doing business than, you know, can I email you? Hey, talk to me. Let me know if I can help you. Get out of here.
Right,
Who are you?
right, right.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Right.
.com.
I want to shake your hand and look you in the eye.
Exactly. I don't want to be a .com. I don't. You know.
But come on, you got to
Torres.
give credit to the hot sister.
Oh hell yeah, hot sister. She wishes she was hot now though.
Yeah.
I love it though.
I'm gonna
Yeah, it
call
was-
her
it was
afterwards
cool.
and tell you something.
Well, I mean, so are you still in Bell Gardens or
No.
in
I
Cudahy?
actually, it's funny. I mean, your studio here is in Mission Viejo. I was just living in San Clemente not too long ago. So when I graduated high school, I wanted to get out of there. I mean, I wanted to get out of that environment. You know, I wanted to go where actually nobody was going. I went to Cal State Fullerton, and I only had 3 classmates besides myself that ended up going there, and I loved it there. I mean, it was for me, it's so funny. I mean, I live in Los Angeles supposedly, but it was just Mexicans or Latin people, and not a lot of exposure to different cultures, you know. So going there, I mean, my eyes were open, and you know, a funny story. One of my roommates. It's so naive the way we grow up and where I grew up. You know, you think white and you just think well off automatically. You don't think poverty. You don't think like they need financial aid too. You don't think anything like that. And my buddy Devin, he lived with me in the dorms, and you know, we went up to Stockton to go to his house, and he had a house. And immediately I'm like, you have a house, dude. You're awesome. And I'm like, you guys are balling, and calling like just kind of saying stupid things, just you know, exposing my naivete. And he's like, if we were so well off, why do you think I need financial aid?
Yeah.
And
Right.
something went off right there. I'm like,
Okay.
open your mind, kid.
He's
Open
just
your
like I
mind,
am.
you know. And then I just stopped assuming, and I stopped just, you know, putting TV as the real world, and actually letting the real world kind of like, you know, hey, wake up, Walter. Check this out. And it was a beautiful experience. I lived there. I lived in Fullerton for almost a decade. Lived in San Clemente for a couple of years, and then went back to LA.
Okay.
You know, went back to LA, and I love LA. I'm a traveler though. I never know where I'm gonna end up. You know, wherever the fun's at, wherever life takes me.
Well, you're in and out of Hollywood a lot, so where you're at now is adjacent to. It's not very
Yeah.
far. You're in one of
Yeah.
the suburbs, I know, but
It's close enough. I'm centralized. The beach is 20 minutes. Mountains is 30 minutes. You know, LA, OC.
Yeah,
I love
mean,
it
that's
there.
what's great about Southern California. It's amazing. Now, you're a comedian. Now, how did that stem about? Where did that
Oh my
come
God. So I got into the business of mortgages in 2003, and obviously it was a gigantic market crash. I got out of it before that. I saw what was happening. I was fed up. I had nice savings. You know what? I'm going to go for a career change. So I took some time off, and in doing so, I kept spending the money like I was making it. All of a sudden, almost a year goes by, and I'm running out of money, and there's no more real jobs in this business. It's like,
Yeah.
no. I'm like, okay, well, it's time to think about what you're going to do. I'm like, so now I'm starting to stress out a little bit. What am I going to do? Let's go in the medical field. Turns out you need an education to go into the medical field. You just can't go in the medical field. Hey, I'm going to cut you open or something.
hello.
You know? Yeah. So
Dr. Kildare.
I didn't really think it through, and out of my desperation, I ended up working for a men's sexual health clinic.
Okay.
They won't go name, but if your pee-pee wasn't working, you were calling me.
Hey now.
You know, you were on the radio calling me. Like, my pee-pee don't work. Help. Like, talk to the doctor, sir. And so I was working there, and obviously I did not want to make that a career at all. So there was a funny guy there. His name's Joshua Mulder. He's now a fellow comedian. Because of him, I actually got into it, because we were shooting back and forth, just joking around. And I asked him, like, what's your dream? You don't want to be talking about penises forever, right? He's like, no, I don't. I'm like, so what do you want to do? Because I want to be a musician. I want to be an actor, maybe, you know? So I decided to go back to I went to Cerritos College, which was right by my house. And I'm going to go and just, you know, took an acting class, took a music production class, took a guitar class, took a voice class, theater
Wow.
class. And it was just fun. So I just started there. Just, you know, timing is everything, like we were talking earlier. And so I went there. And as I'm signing up for my classes, I noticed they have a comedy class, a stand-up comedy class. So it didn't fit my schedule, and it wasn't something that I was looking to do, but I remember him. So I go, Josh, I got to take you to Cerritos. I literally went to go grab him, dragged him, typed him in his name, registered him. Now he had a stand-up comedy class. A couple months later, I'm there to support him at a comedy show after being part of my first movie experience, being production design, and somebody didn't show up for the role. I ended up filling the role.
Nice.
And in this movie experience, I was working with 4 professional comedians and just shooting the whatever with them on set and just making them laugh. So when I went to go support him on his open mic night, I was there, and they were trying to convince me, go up, come on, it's open mic, you could do it. You know, I'm like, I'm not gonna go do it. This is your stuff. I can't even support you. You know, like, no. Turns out the producer was extremely stressed because he was expecting 15 comedians. There were 6 there.
Oh, wow.
So he's literally going around the bar, you know, like, do you do comedy? Do you do comedy? Do you want to do comedy? You want to do comedy? I'm like, what? I'm like, no. 5 beers later, a couple cigarettes later, I end up saying, you know what? Let's go.
Let's
do it. It was the best decision of my life.
Excellent.
I went up there and I tried to convince him, like, don't put me up first. You know, maybe put me on third. I've never done this before. He's like, all right, let me figure it out. Let me see what I do. Goes up there, does his open thing, like his hosting, and then boom, Walter Ray is up to stage. I'm like, you mother.
Man.
So I go up there, did about 15 minutes, just told stories about my life. Talked about how my mom broke a broom over my back once, and I turned around and I said, Kunta Kente.
Yeah.
She's like, who's Kunta? Shut up, go to your room. And I just talked about different things that happened on set, and I just had a great time. Ever since I was a kid, I mean, storytelling and just making people laugh was just something that came natural to me.
Nice.
So when I went up there, I killed it. The whole bar was laughing. I get off, and all him and his classmates are just looking at me like, how the hell did you just do that?
You just stole the show.
You didn't even write anything. You just went up there, and that's how I started my career, just improvising. That was in November of 2008. So I just reached my 6-year anniversary. Oh,
Nice.
wow.
Wow.
Yeah, 6-year anniversary right here. And then by May 5th, 2009, I was at the Hollywood Improv hosting every month.
Nice.
Isn't that something?
Very
I
nice.
moved up.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I
Very
moved up
nice.
very quickly. So now, I mean, I've headlined Irvine Improv, Ontario, Ice House. I mean, a bunch of places. So it's going very nice.
Very cool. Love the Ice House up in Pasadena.
Yeah.
That's-
So most of the material you do is just everyday life?
It's life. Yeah, it's life with a little twist here and there. You know, if it could be juicier or funnier, obviously that's my job. You know,
I'm sure you talk
But
about your ex-girlfriends
a
and
lot,
stuff.
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot, girls. You date me, you
There's
might
a
end
lot
up
of
there.
fodder there.
You know,
Yeah.
you might end up
It's-
there.
it's-
Girls are funny. What do you want me to do? Girls are funny.
You're gonna date me, you end up in the routine.
Yeah, you might end up
Just
there. You
know
might
up front.
Yeah, I might not share your name, but you know who you are. Yeah, I share my life. And life is the funniest thing.
Sure.
You know, you can't write it. It writes itself, and there's nothing better than the truth. Whether it's drama or horror or whatever, it's just real life is the best that you can make into art.
Isn't that the fact? I had the pleasure of working with Ray Romano and Brad Garrett for a 2-year period.
Nice.
The last 2 years of Everybody Loves Raymond, I worked at Warner Brothers Movie Studio. And Ray and Brad both said that very same thing. Comedy comes from your heart. It comes from real stories. And also the writers on the show knew that. That's how that show was written. And when you watch Everybody Loves Raymond, those shows are written about all the writers and the producers' real life instance. So they would go on a trip, a vacation, and lose their luggage or whatever, and that would be an episode.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. It's unpredictable.
you're right, and people love that.
Yeah, well, with your life story, I mean, it seems like there's been a lot of like difficulties and a lot of challenges. Now, how can you make light of that?
Well, I don't know if I necessarily make light of it. There is a process where I do get sad about certain things that have happened. You know, even take relationships. You know, you get heartbroken. That's real stuff. You know, but you can't be heartbroken forever.
Right.
You know, you got to move on. And one thing that's also a fact, in my opinion, at least, is time heals everything. And it might take you 6 months or a year, whatever it takes you to get over it, but you'll get over it. You know, and to be able to see that now, grown up more and having gone through different things, I know that's a fact. So it expedites the process now. Like, dude, just move on. It's gonna be all right. And I also recognize what I've been through and the what I extracted from those experiences and how I made those into positives. And that's all you can do. You can't waste it and dwell on that negativity.
Sure.
You know, you have to extract the good to feed off of it, to fuel whatever passions you have, whatever loves you have. You have to find the fuel. You can't just lay there and just wilt away, you know? So that's a responsibility to yourself
Right.
to extract that and just, hey, let's go. Let's get this ammo and let's feed ourselves and let's move forward.
Fantastic.
And that's the only choice you have. You either do that or you sink, you know?
Right.
That's right.
I'd rather swim.
That's one of the messages Rachel and I try to get across on Passion Driven TV is that very message. You know,
Yeah.
you have to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, as they say, and get on with it. Yeah, it may take a while to get through the healing process, but
You know, to be very open, I mean, growing up without a father, and being raised the way I was, where I kind of say it, I raised myself. You know, no one checked my homework. I checked my own homework. I didn't want to be the dumb guy in class. I wanted to be the guy on top.
Sure.
Well, I wasn't one. I better be number 2. And even then, I wasn't happy. You know, so that was my own thing that I chose. And so I don't know, it was instinctive, or I just didn't want to be a failure. I wanted to be something more. And that never goes away if you really want that. So even if life kicks you in the face, like, yo, move on, buddy.
Get up.
You know, are you going to just chill out or make something? And it's hard to I think some stuff has taken me longer, as opposed to maybe I had those two
Sure.
features there in my life, those you know, the double parent, whatever, but I didn't. And for whatever reason, however long it takes, I just know where I want to be.
Excellent.
So I don't care how long it takes, and I'll enjoy the journey, whether it hurts or whether it's awesome.
I love that. I also teach at the Academy of Radio and Television in Huntington Beach, and I tell the students that all the time. It's not so much about that destination. Don't worry about that. You will get there, but enjoy the journey. Make
That's
it
right.
the best you can make it, and get there in fine fashion. But don't worry so much. You'll get to the goal line. You
Well, I mean, what also helps is the fact that I'm not just a comedian. You know, I've been published for poetry, and I'm an artist. I consider myself an artist, and because I do various things, and there's something to be embraced about pain. There's something to be embraced about the hardships.
Sure.
You know, I can't value something great as much as it probably should be valued if I didn't fall on my face or I didn't have my heart
right.
broken.
That's
you know?
right.
It's part of it, and so I embrace it. There's moments, oddly enough, where you actually kind of look for, like, it hasn't happened for a while, dude. Things are going too good. You know,
wait
like,
for that other shoe to drop.
yeah, I'm missing some pain here. You know, somebody pinch me or something, bite my neck or something.
Sometimes I think the greatest inspiration comes from that. Maybe you might not
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to see it in that moment, but I mean, when you do look back, I mean, those are the experiences that really just makes you stronger.
My finest art. I mean, my first song that I wrote was about a girl that deserved love, and for some reason I couldn't love her. So I had to end it. It was either just continue absorbing her love and not being able to reciprocate, or do the right thing and let her go.
Right.
And for the first time I did the right thing. I wasn't selfish. I moved on, you know, and I was like, I have to do this for myself and for you. And that's the first song that I ever wrote, was about that. You know, one of my favorite art pieces was about the girl that broke my heart. And it's like an awesome art piece that I love. It's hanging out. I was supposed to give it away. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna keep this. This is mine. You know, so it doesn't go to waste. You know? Not if you know how to use it, at least.
Right, exactly. I know your stand-up has probably taken you near and far, and to benefit shows and things of that nature. I know there's a humanitarian side to Walter Reyes
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Rachel had mentioned Laugh for a
Yeah,
Cause.
Laugh for a Cause.
Yeah.
I mean, we do a lot of charity work together, and we've just done Have a Soul as well.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, which is Shoes for the Homeless.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you are good to the core. I mean, I am really one of your biggest fans. And the thing
Thank
is,
you.
it's like, as funny as you are and all that hype and, you know, all that laughter, the thing is, like you said, there is that humanitarian part of it. And where does that stem from?
I think what I went through growing up, you know, what I saw. I think even where I grew up, I was well off, considering if you take everybody and line us up, I'm probably on the well off side if in that environment. But I still saw a lot of bad stuff, and saw a lot of people. And I like to listen to people's stories. And I think even take the guy from Have a Soul. You know, the reason he started is because he grew up in Santa Monica, poor. Santa Monica, you're not poor.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you go to high school in Santa Monica, you're the only poor guy if you're poor, and he was the only poor guy there. So he would, you know, school would end, then they would come to the next year, and he was wearing the same shoes, and they would make fun of him, and he felt awful, like his self-esteem was taking a hit. And I don't know I forgot who he mentioned that they just basically gave him a brand new pair of shoes, and his confidence went through the roof. He was about to lose his self-esteem, and it just changed him, and he felt like he could like do this, and that moment right there in high school changed his life. Wow. And those little moments, and like, no, wow, the power of that.
Yeah.
The power of that, the power of just sharing your food with someone that doesn't have any, and then you see their face. I'm from a third world country. I was my family's from El Salvador. I was born here. I was made over there. I'm like a good import.
Okay.
I was made over there but delivered here. but you know, I have gone there a couple times, and wow, I mean, I mean, I was like a millionaire to them when I went over there, and I just had like
yeah.
$1,000, and that was it. But to them, it was like I had a posse of kids going to get me drinks because that's how they were getting their snacks from me. It just is when you experience those things, and take off the blinders and allow others to expose you to their hardships.
Right.
If you really care, if you have a genuine appreciation for life and just acknowledgement of the hardships, and you want to help, you can. And the truth is I never realized how good it felt to help.
I love that.
I never realized how good. I was a selfish human being, and I helped for the first time, and I was on a high for like a month or two looking for the next one. Like, I want to help somebody else. This is awesome.
Yeah, who's next?
You
Who's
know,
next?
like when we did the food drive, we prepared 1,600 meals.
Beautiful.
Wow.
That was amazing.
It was amazing.
It is
And it
amazing.
took us like less than an hour.
Seriously.
With the manpower, we were just sweating out, like sweating more than I am right now. I'm like, just, and then, oh my God, when they said the number of how many meals we prepared, I'm like, wow.
That was amazing.
And that took nothing. As a community, we came together and did that, for Have a Soul. One comedy show raised, actually it was more than 33. It ended up being like closer to 50 pair of shoes.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was ecstatic. They were piled him up in his Explorer, and he was just happy. And I still have people dropping off bags of shoes and socks and stuff. So it feels good. And then I see him post the pictures of the old pair of shoes that these people are carrying, like removing and putting on the nice little new clean. It feels good. It feels really good. So if you ever thought about it, do it, people.
There you go.
Get
That's
back.
right.
It feels great.
That's right.
Heard that
Well, what is it that you want to tell the people, our audience? A lot of them are going through some challenges and struggles, as far as trying to reach for their dreams. Now, you've obviously come out on the other side, and you are living the dream. And I know that there's more for Mr. Walter Reyes. But what can you tell them? What can you tell our viewers?
Acknowledge your flaws. The sooner you look in the mirror and realize what's wrong with you, if you're not happy with it, you're not going to fix it until you acknowledge it. And I'm speaking from experience. I didn't like who I was becoming. I was a good guy, and for some reason something happened. I was just changing, and I was becoming someone that I wasn't looking for. I just didn't like what I was seeing in the mirror. And I just stopped. And I removed myself, and I took some time to just, I wrote down my flaws. And God, when you write something down, it's worse than a mirror. Because I could look at the mirror and talk, and then I walk away and it's gone. It's gone. The mirror's not there no more,
Right.
I write that down. That's there, and it's looking at me. And if I put it up, it's staring at me, and it's not going nowhere. It's like the Mona Lisa following you with the eyes, and like, oh my God, I am that crappy person. I don't want to be that. And it's a choice. So, and don't let the hardships make you that, which that's what happened to me. The hardships were starting to transform me. And I acknowledged that. And I took the time to do that and make a conscious effort to change. We're so domesticated as kids where we're just brought up and implemented right and wrong and this and that. Right and wrong is from your heart. You feel it. You feel when you're doing something crappy. You feel when you're doing something good.
You're born with it. You're
It is
born
an
with what's
innate
knowing
thing.
what's right and wrong.
Oh,
It
totally.
may get taken away from you at school or whatever, but you're right. You're born with it.
So whatever hardships you're going through, it's just for the moment. It's for the moment, and you could get out of it.
Yeah.
It's a fact. You could research millions of examples of people that have been in the gutter and then boom, they're on top of the world.
That's right.
And however they got there, they got there. It's just nothing is forever, including happiness. It's not forever. Sadness is not forever. Life is a roller coaster. It's this.
That's it.
So when you're down, don't just stay there. It's a choice.
Right.
Ultimately, everything's a choice. I didn't want to stay there. I
Right.
wanted to get out, and I did. And that's all that matters. So just embrace the bad, but don't forget you want the good. You always chase the good.
I think there's a country song in there somewhere about choices. We all have choices,
Yeah.
right or wrong,
Yeah.
good or bad.
That's right. There's also this quote that I read. It's like, if you're going through hell, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Just go through
Yeah,
it.
because that's right. That's the other part of the pendulum, as he says. That the pendulum can only go so bad,
Right.
go to the bad, and then it has to come back.
It's true. High five Al Capone on your way out. Boom, bolted.
Yeah.
Walter, thank you so much for being here
Thank
today.
you for having me. It was awesome. Appreciate it.
It's been a gas.
Yeah.
It really has, indeed. I was going to bring you a rubber chicken, but I looked all over town over the weekend, could not find it. I said, every good comedian needs a rubber chicken. I was going to put it in a bag. Go here, Walter, I got something for you. But
Well, if you find it, just boom. Yeah, there you go. Hit me in the face.
fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, it's been a pleasure having you on Passion Driven TV. It really has. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And come back again. See us.
I will.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Thank you for joining us here on PassionDriven.tv with our guest Walter Reyes, not just a kid from Cudahy, not just a comedian or an actor or an artist, but also a humanitarian and occasionally a mortgage loan consultant. So for all you first-time buyers out there, I have a number. I'm kidding. Seriously, this is a man with inspiration. I think he's had it since he was a kid. If you feel that inspiration, don't miss it, because you're the one that will be rewarded with the best gift of all, and that is the ability to share with others. And you won't miss it if you sit quietly and allow yourself to find your true note, as I like to call it, to reveal what you are being guided to share with others and be clear on what you want to happen in your life. Not just the things you're passionate about, but the things that people compliment you on, the things that you just do organically and have fun doing. I don't take on any project unless there's a fun factor. People that know me know this. Follow your heart and you will create your own best world. Your passions are the pipeline to your soul. This is a quote from a new book just released by Michelle Patterson, who will be our guest next time on PassionDriven.tv. I'm Marshall Thomas, and as always, be good to each other.